All right, picture this. You move into a Bel Air mansion, but within minutes, you mistake your butler for your uncle. You confuse rich lawyers with earth, wind, and fire, and because of you, your little cousin prays in rap form at a fancy dinner. Yeah, Will Smith had a wild first day. But underneath all the jokes, this episode hit on something real. Have you ever judged someone before without really knowing them? Turns out we all do, including Will and Uncle Phil. Stick around because in a few minutes, you'll see how the Fresh Prince of Bel Air taught us a life-changing lesson, wrapped up in jokes, hip-hop beats, and one very questionable tuxedo. So at the beginning, we see the theme song that we all know and love from the Fresh Prince of Bel Air, but we see the extended version which shows Will on a plane drinking orange juice from a champagne glass, and he's flying first class. So Will's outside banging on the door singing Back to Life. So Jeffrey answers the door and Will hugs him talking about Uncle Phil. He doesn't even know this is the butler. Jeffrey calls Will Master William and Will is like, yo, chill out with all that, yo. We ain't back on the plantation. That sounds crazy. So Will meets Aunt Viv and Uncle Phil and he's like, yo, the plane was stupid. It was dope. And they're like, what, excuse me? And Will's like, oh yeah, I gotta calm down the vernacular. It was a decent plane ride. It was a good plane. And of course, he says it in a sarcastic way that only Will could do. So we cut to a scene where Will is in his room dancing, singing Back to Life again, bumping it loud. So we know he loves this song. And Jeffrey walks in with a tuxedo. Yo, Vincent, what's good? Will says. That's a good show, by the way. But anyway, so Jeffrey hands Will the tux and he walks out. Carlton comes in, and this is the first time that we see Will take a shot at Carlton's blackness, saying nobody would confuse you as a brother. And if you're black, you know what that means. We see Will teaching Ashley to rap. That was a pretty funny scene. Then Will walks into the formal dinner, into the living room, and has this crazy alteration of a tuxedo, and Uncle Phil just turns his head in shame. He's so embarrassed and pissed off at the same time. So then Uncle Phil's like, Will, these are my law partners, Firth, Wynn, and Meyer. And Will's like, oh, Earth, Wind, and Fire. When's your next album coming out? Like, really? So it cuts to the dinner scene, and Will is tapping on the glass, and he starts acting like he's Dougie Fresh, doing beats with his mouth and stuff like that. So Uncle Phil's looking at him like he's crazy. They tell Ashley to pray over the food. She starts rapping. Thank you, God, for this stupid food. and Will is like scared for his life. Uncle Phil, Viv is looking crazy. Carlton is looking amazed. Look like he's trying not to break character. It's hilarious. And my favorite part of the episode, here we go. Will is in the room on the piano. Jeffrey walks out. Uncle Phil comes in, says, I need to talk to you. Uncle Phil's like, yo, I'm sick of your shenanigans. Will's like, yo, you just want me to be like you. I ain't some rich dude in a suit. I'm me. Will thinks that Uncle Phil is trying to change him. Uncle Phil thinks that Will is trying to embarrass him. They're both wrong. Will tells him somewhere along the way, yo, you forgot where you came from, dude. Uncle Phil's like, yo, watch your mouth. You got Malcolm X on the wall. I seen the brother preach in person. I got all the books and I've read every one of them. I know where I come from. Will's like, for real? I ain't know you did all that. And he's like, yeah. Then Uncle Phil says these astounding words. Before you judge someone, you make sure you find out what they're all about. Will's like, yo, I want to explain my side. Uncle Phil's like, nah, I'm tired. Thinking about what you're about makes me tired, so nah, I don't want to hear nothing you got to say. He shuts him down and he walks out. So Will, feeling rejected, sits down, starts tapping keys on the piano. Next thing you know, he's playing one of Beethoven's classic hits. So Uncle Phil peeks his head into the room and is shocked. Like, yo, this dude knows Beethoven? Like, I didn't think he was that layered. The advice he just gave Will, he ain't follow it himself. He actually judged Will without getting a chance to know him. Right here is why The Fresh Prince was more than just a comedy. It was about real life. We all judge way too fast. Whether it's a loud kid from Philly, a rich man from Bel Air, or even our own family members. But the truth, nobody fits in one box. We all have multiple layers. So before we label someone, let's actually take the time to get to know them. You might be surprised at what you find. What's an example of you judging a book by its cover before you got to know somebody? Drop a comment below.